All right, what is going on, and welcome back to the podcast. This is the Tipped Out Podcast with your hosts Brandon Palmer and Dannychristygolf. What's going on, man? It's been a while. This is the 10th podcast. It's been a minute since we've done one of these.
This
Been
is
kind of
10?
busy, right?
This is the 10th podcast?
It is indeed.
Wow.
Big
Okay.
1-0.
Double digits. Half a year later.
Yeah, right. What have you been up to, brother?
I've been working, dude. I've been working up by my hometown, up by your hometown, at a Partridge Run Golf and Country Club, which if you're in the area of the North Country, which is Canton, Potsdam, Norwood, Route 11, Canada, come play.
Awesome.
It's in great shape. Yeah, doing working in the pro shop. I'm the assistant pro, so doing lessons, all sorts of other stuff. We're slowing down now big time, which is nice, but I'm actually not though, because I've been the assistant coach of the 𝐓𝐢𝐩𝐻𝐝 golf team, so I've been a little more busy doing that. But
that's awesome, bro. Yeah. We'll definitely dive into that a little deeper too in another podcast. But this one's going to be mostly about the mental state, the mental game, what percentage of golf is mental, that kind of stuff. So a lot of good topics to come.
What percentage would you say is mental?
Bro, I would say personally, I think it's probably 70-75%. How about you?
I agree in that area. I think a lot of times there's a lot of, like, think about how many times you score well but don't feel like you hit it that great, or feel like you didn't. Like, there'll be days where you feel like you've hit it good but you don't end up even scoring that well, or stuff like that. There's a Bob Rotella quote that is that, like, a good player is more defined by his ability to chip and putt and his mental, like, strength than anything else. So
definitely, I think it's like how you play under pressure. You're far more defined about basically the score. It takes a lot just to want to put your name on a scoreboard and post a score. That takes a lot out of a person.
Yeah.
But the other part of it is like you're probably actually playing golf, swinging the club for like 2 to 5 minutes maybe out of a whole round of golf. So that's all that other time, out of the possibilities of the 3, or I'd say that maybe the 2 hours to 4.5 hours you're out there, it's all you're in your own head. Other than that, you're swinging a golf club for milliseconds. So it definitely is a huge part of it. And that's the other piece I would like to ask you, a little segue into our session here.
Well, can I stop you real quick?
Yeah.
You're not going to lose your train of thought?
Not at all.
Got a little off topic. What have you been up to? Because I know it's pretty interesting.
Of course, brother. Yeah, so I am down in Florida, my new home, down in Port St. Lucie, Florida. My parents moved here a couple of years ago, so now finally followed suit, moved down, and I'm working at Altitude Golf Academy. It was Club Med Academy just a short time ago. Did a big merger here, and now it's Altitude Academy. So that is in Port St. Lucie, Florida. The little Trident you see here, that is our new course getting redone. That's called Trident Golf Club. And we've got a great full-time academy there. So it's soccer, volleyball, golf, of course. What else? Tennis. It originated as tennis. So this is just world-class facility. Really cool. This isn't my room. I'm currently in a hotel room in Peachtree, Georgia, with a student actually playing a 𝐓𝐢𝐩𝐸 event, the 𝐓𝐢𝐩𝐸 Junior Classic here at Whitewater Creek Golf and Country Club. So nice event there. And yeah, man, just have been full-time teaching. Super, super cool to, as you and I have worked in Pennsylvania together. That was a private club. And now seeing kind of the academy side of things, it's super cool. It's interesting. I am enjoying it. But yeah, it's really interesting to be like a coach rather than a golf instructor. When you're
it's
doing
definitely
individual lessons, you might see that person one time forever. Whereas a golf coach, we see these kids every day or 6 days a week, many hours of the day, whether it's fitness, on-range fitness, putting, it's mental. We'll talk about that. Catching up with Bill Nelson, famous mental performance coach. But yeah, just developing a player. And these kids are away from home. They live all over the world, and they're away from home, 11 months out of the year almost. So you're almost a parent, a coach, a friend, an instructor, a mentor. So you're many things, and that's kind of the part I like, the overall development of the player. So super cool. Been teaching as much as I can. Got my membership site going now, so trying to really pump out lessons online through the great Coach Now platform. So if you need some lessons in the Partridge area, hit Danny up. And if you're looking to, get some lessons online from anywhere, hit the link in the bio, and or just go to bpgolfinstruction.com. Little plug there. But yeah, man. So that's what we've been up to. Both of us are currently actually interns. Hopefully this will turn into a full-time position. I think yours will as well. But just kind of finishing out our senior year here from SUNY Delhi in the professional golf management program. So another blessing from Delhi is just these great connections. So kudos to us for our hard work and Delhi for the connects. But let's get into the main topic of today's discussion, the mental game.
Definitely. One thing I did want to touch on that you mentioned earlier, and it kind of ties into the mental game, is there's definitely a big difference, and I like how you pointed out, of a golf instructor versus a coach. I can totally relate to that. As once I started coaching on the SUNY Canton team, it was like you definitely start to get to know the person more and their mental approach more than you do. Like an instructor, like a lesson can literally just be a guy that you've never met before. 45 minutes, you just like go through a swing and you're like, whatever, and then they're gone. You never see them again. Whereas it's cool to like connect and like really talk to the person, like, yeah, we're gonna get better. Like that's our goal. And I just think that's pretty cool.
100%, man. It's so cool. Like we were just talking about how much the mental game is. Like you can really see as to why players do things when you're, one, just around them more, but two, you get to really see inside the mental thing. And I feel like when we're wearing the golf instructor hat, it's different because a client is not going to want to sit down and talk to you about, their day-to-day life and how that affects them on the course. Really, I wouldn't think it's most likely very results driven, especially if it's just going to be a one-time deal. Most of the time that if it's going to be a one-time deal. So it's like, teach me how to hit a draw, stop
hitting my slice.
Yeah, exactly. So when you can actually develop a player from the ground up when you are coaching. So that's cool.
And you definitely, like, I find myself talking way more about, like, just, like, the scoring mental approach to the game, like, actually playing the game. I feel like a lot of times when you give a lesson, you get so focused on, like, the mechanics of the swing and the result of the ball flight. Whereas, like, a lot of times with these guys, which usually they're a lot better, but it's cool to, like, actually talk about, like, the point of the game, which is to score lower.
Yep. And that's why kind of the main reason why I wanted to create the membership site was so that, one, people aren't spending thousands for golf lessons, but two, it's so that you can connect with that player and get multiple lessons, whether it's a month, 3 month, or the yearly membership. It's like you just get more time to understand that player and work through it. It's not going to be a Band-Aid fix. Like we can go right through grip, aim, posture, and develop the swing they want, and not just throw them a Band-Aid, throw them a bone, and get them out the door. Which individual lessons can be helpful, but they have their place.
It depends on the person. I mean, I've got one guy that is great, and we've been working all summer, and he's gotten way better. And then there's the other guy who thinks that he's going to get better by getting 3 tips, never practicing, and comes to you 4 times, and every time he's no better, and then it's just like a pain. But 100%. That's the way it works.
Yep. But I know I said I wasn't going to lose my train of thought.
I definitely, I mean, I figured you would, but we had to talk about what you've been doing.
We did indeed. Well, let's hop right into the actual session. So we did our little catch up here. Now the main reason we wanted to talk about Mr. Bill Nelson. So Bill Nelson is a mental performance coach. He's worked with a ton of players: PGA, LPGA, NCAA D1, amateur, and these are all winners on these tours and divisions and leagues. So very cool. He works for, or his company is mindmanagementgroup.com. You can look him up there or go to Twitter, look up the same exact thing. So he came in to work with our players both as a group and then one-on-one sessions. Now, from what I know, my little bit of I know about the academy setting is that doesn't happen very often. It's usually a guy who comes in, rips a little seminar, and he's out the door. So super cool for Bill to come in and work with the players one-on-one. Every single one of them absolutely loved it, worked through their mind management packet, and just got so much from it. So he'll be with us, I think he'll come in once a month just to touch up, tune up, and then the players, of course, have the ability to do private sessions with him. But diving into that a little bit, just the overall mental aspect. So we already talked about what percentage we thought, but what do you do? Oh, that's what it was. There we are. So how do you feel? Do you practice mental preparation, mental focus, or just kind of anything along those lines? Because that's what he was talking about in the seminar, which kind of blew my mind, is how much time, or excuse me, the percentage we think golf is mental, and then what's the percent that we put focus on that or practice. We chip and putt, we hit the range all the time, we want to hit those big bomb drives, but how often are we meditating? How often are we looking at our day-to-day life or the underlying reasons as to why we're breaking down during a round, not finishing a round, getting super angry? Most of the time I've ever gotten angry on the course or slammed a club or something like that, it's been an underlying issue. Very rarely does golf frustrate me. It's I had a bad day and I made a bad swing and now the mental clarity is gone. So if you want to elaborate or touch on that a little bit, wasn't really a question, more of a
statement, but it was a question. I think that's a very cool. I never even would have thought of that. So that's a very cool thing that he brought up. Obviously, I actually would say not. Definitely not enough, but I do definitely think I do it more than like the common golf. Well, I obviously do my common golf, but I think I do it more than other people at this level. Because I feel that, I've always, for the last 4 years, I've been way more focused on like pre-shot routine, target aware, stuff like that, which in a way, that's kind of like your meditation during a round, I feel like, is going through the pre-shot routine. And I do, like, when I'm hitting range balls, I'm never raking. I'm always going through a pre-shot routine, trying to get my body to match my mind where my eyes are looking. Same with putting, all the same. Like, you putt so much better when your mind matches what your body is trying to accomplish, basically. So, making sure my eye line's right, the way I look at the hole, the way I look at the target, I think those are all pretty much a way of training the mental approach, and going, the pre-shot routine gets you into the zone, kind of. As you do that, and it totally just you get in the habit of doing it your way, the right way, over and over, I think that definitely clears your mind of the, whatever people are thinking over the ball, or the fear of hitting a bad shot or stuff like that. So, that's definitely really important. And I actually did go through a phase where there's this really cool guy I knew from St. Lawrence University, who was one of my dad's good friends growing up. And he kind of showed me like the correct way to breathe. And
yes, I remember talking about that.
Yep. And then basically he was kind of like a meditative, like spiritual kind of dude, and we talked about that, which it was funny because my dad was all like, "Pa, that's so stupid," you know. And I was like, "Oh, I think it's pretty cool, Dad." But no, so that's I haven't done that in a while though. But sometimes when I know I'm like freaking out a little bit in my head or I'm getting anxious, I do the breathing for sure. I don't do it enough, like I don't do it regularly, but I definitely utilize it.
Definitely. I know our listeners are going to want to know now that you've got this secret to breathing. You want to touch on that a little bit, kind of after that process?
Yeah, I believe it's called what, diaphragm breathing? I think that's what I got told it was.
Breathing, and then the shallow breathing is probably what 90% of the population does, where it's kind of just a reverse of the diaphragm breathing. So go ahead.
So when I learned that, which hopefully I'm remembering this correctly, he had me lay down on the ground, which he said once you get really good at it, you can do it standing up or whatever. He goes, but if you wanted to like meditate, he said it'd be a good thing to do before you went to sleep, which I used to do before I went to sleep. Lay on the ground, put your hands on your stomach, totally relaxed. Relax your neck, make sure you're not like tense with your neck when you're laying, like relax it, like get in a good comfortable position, make sure you're totally relaxed. And then when you take your breath in, you kind of like push out your stomach is with the feel of it, and it's expanding your diaphragm, and it's expanding your whole what's that called? Your navel area, your whole stomach area. And you take like a deep breath in that way, and you definitely realize it's harder at first to get a lot of air. Like you definitely get better at it. And then you take one that's through your nose, and then you kind of feel like it just pushes back down and comes out your mouth, which I think, I don't know if you know more details about it than that or no.
Maybe not more details, but kind of just, not necessarily more details, but yeah, what it is when we inhale, most people stomach goes inward, right? Like you're trying to suck your stomach in for a photo, you know?
Yeah, totally.
So, exactly. So when that happens, we're not getting the oxygen our brain, our body needs. So what we have to do, like you said, and which it's difficult to do at the beginning. So if you're listening, whether you're watching on YouTube, whether you're listening to a podcast, just go ahead and place your hand on your stomach. Take a nice breath in through the nose and feel your stomach push out, like Danny said. So your stomach should expand. And like it's going to be difficult because most people shallow breathe, just meaning they don't take in enough air, right? So when you're trying to get a full breath, you're going to have to open your chest. You know, your sternum should point up to the sky a little bit more. Your navel expands. And then now when you exhale out the mouth, let all that air expend. And it's just going to be a totally different sense of breathing. So if you're ever anxious, this will be a great segue into our next topic.
Calm you down instantly.
Yeah, if you're anxious or you're trying to go to sleep at night or you're just trying to breathe better, this is definitely something to work on each and every day. But think about that, dude. If you're breathing wrong, when I heard it from you, but I remember reading it in a meditation book, I think my mom gave me, or a yoga book, excuse me, and it just blew my mind that like I wasn't even conscious of how I was breathing, and that really kind of woke me up. But the next piece of that is going to be talking to kind of how you calm yourself down on the course. So one step further that I remember I spoke to you about this slightly. I don't want to give away all of Mr. Nelson's secrets or, you know, all of the notes from our session, but two things that really stuck out to me was when he talked about what's called monkey mind. So monkey mind is basically the survival mode of our brain. So you never lose your golf swing. You just can't gain access to it when you're super nervous, scared, or, you know, frustrated, flabbergasted, whatever it may be. I've told the story countless times of my struggles at Cornell Golf Course in high school about my first tee jitters, snapping one OB, teeing off in front of the tee marker. Had no business being at this tournament. And
you did that?
Dude, it's terrible.
Did you actually tee off in front of the tee marker at States?
Off on the tee marker. I teed up probably this far. For who's, you know, listening, is an inch and a half in front of the tee marker. I was at the top of my backswing, and the kid stopped me. He said, "Hey," and I stopped my swing, and he said, "You're in front of the tee marker." So now, as if I wasn't nervous before, man, this is the biggest stage. This is the what was it? The was a state golf tournament, right? It was,
Yep.
yeah, states at Cornell. So if I wasn't nervous already, playing with kids way above my skill level, I didn't really have the game in the bag. Got it done at sectionals, but now we're shaky. Now we're shaky and nervous. Stops me in my backswing. Now I'm shaking. Put the tee back in the ground. Snap hook OB. I made a 9. I made a 9 on the first hole. Back in.
I mean, I could save you a couple shots, though. It could have been an 11.
I know. Made a 9, birdied the next. But anyway, so the whole topic of that story was the fact that I was so nervous. I didn't think about anything else. Your swing gets super short. My jaw was tensed up. I had no thoughts. It was truly survival. Get me out of this stress, this moment. Get me away from these people. Just hacked one out there. Of course, swing shorter, finished low and left, hook. So the big thing out of that monkey mind is you just can't gain access to your swing that you had moments before on the range. People say, oh, I'm so good on the range that I go out to play and it's crap. Well, it's because your monkey mind is getting in the way. Now, the next piece of that is going to be the professor mind. So apparently that is in the front of your brain. I'm no Bill Nelson. I don't know these things by heart, but so that is the part of your mind that runs scenarios. So when you're over a putt and you're constantly thinking about the bogey on the last hole, if I make this putt, it's for birdie. I'll be one shot back of the leader, this and that. So you're thinking about the past. Yeah, you're thinking.
If I par in from here, I'll shoot 79.
So
oh, coach, I shot 86.
He gave that example of Spieth, like Spieth on 12 at the Masters. Like, why just par in? Yep, lost it all. But yeah, so you're thinking about the past and the future. You're not in the present. When you're in the present, you can actually go through your process. You can actually tap into your skill and play. But when that monkey mind kind of comes up and it's all survival, that's when we need those breathing techniques. That's when we need to shut our eyes and envision. That's when we need to have an individualistic approach to how we calm ourselves down on the course. So I thought that look into the monkey mind and the professor mind really kind of gave me clarity and almost reassurance as a player that like this is just something people go through, and this is physiological and mental, and not me being broken as a golfer. So if you're out there listening to this and you find yourself wicked jitters either over a short putt, a birdie putt on the first tee,
yeah,
you're not alone. And like, have you had many times like that where you've kind of just been super clouded and just kind of been in that survival mode, just hit one out there and kind of got it out of the way?
Yes, but it's been a while for sure.
Mm-hmm. Oh, definitely, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, I remember first time I remember it was really bad was I was in the North Country Junior Golf Tour, and Mark Mahoney and I went to a playoff in like the 13 to 15-year-old age division, and I had a putt to win it in the playoff. That was literally like not even 3 feet, right? Like I should just step up and run that baby in.
Yep.
And I was like shaking over it. I remember just being like incredibly nervous.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was the last time I remember being like uncontrollably nervous.
Yep.
Well, that and like a public speaking class, but
that's the same thing.
So it's the same thing. Yeah, exactly. But no, it's been a while. But I definitely think that what has helped me the most would be probably reading Golf is Not a Game of Perfect. And I think it's good to accept nerves. Like you get more when you start to almost like get like worked up for being nervous almost. I don't know. It's weird. Like if you just like sometimes I'll have nerves and I'll just think to myself, like I'll be on like the first tee box of a tournament. I'll just think to myself, like, this is good. Like this means you care. You're here to like do your best and play. Let's just go do that. And then I just go through my routine, pick my target, like get locked in on that, and I go. And it doesn't usually affect me too much, which is good. But I think it's good to like accept the nerves a little bit and just go like, what are you here for? Like.
Bro, that's huge. You just touched on a couple of the biggest and main points of it all. So first off, enjoying the competition. So
Yeah,
Bill,
exactly.
Bill talked to the GOAT, the Golden Bear, Mr. Jack Nicklaus, and when he asked him 3 questions, or he asked him a question, and Jack said, the biggest thing is you need a high level of self-belief when you're on the course. Easier said than done. Focus all of your energy on the course itself. So like you said, the routine, just have your mind on the course. It's only a couple hours when you're out there. It seems a lot longer at times, but just truly try and focus on the shot at hand. And then lastly, enjoy the competition. That's the biggest thing, man. When I look back at some of our college golf highlights, it's like I truly just want that feeling of having a putt that means something. Yeah. Just to be able to hold up that, that trophy again, and that's so cool. But now the next part of it would be what you said. Do you think, kind of know the answer, but do you think being in more competitive situations where the putt has mattered, being on bigger stages, and just also getting more reps in competition golf has helped you kind of get away from those nerves, right?
100%.
100%.
Yeah. I think it comes down to, I think if you're a smart person, I think a lot of people are, right? You eventually figure out, the more times you're in a situation, you figure out how to successfully go through that situation pretty much, right? So like, yeah, I just feel like I played a ton of competitive golf, which I'm really happy I did. And I remember being like 12, and people that I like that were like mentors to me would always say, yeah, the earlier you get in it, the better. Like, go ahead. And I'm glad that I did when I did. And I felt I didn't get too nervous really. And once I hit like college tournaments, which was great. But again, I just totally think it comes down to experience. The more times you're put in a situation, no matter what it is, the more times we're going to figure out the best way to get through it.
100%. And most people, golfers alike, they truly focus on fixing the pain or the negative rather than just getting to their goals. So like with that being said, it's like, oh, I can't finish a round, or I get so nervous on the tee. It's like, focus on the goal. Playing a goal, being a good competitive golfer, enjoying the moment, enjoying that competition, rather than getting so worked up about the jitters. Put that focus elsewhere. Easier said than done, but put that focus elsewhere. And best quote, my biggest takeaway from the session with Bill would be, start focusing on who you need to be and not what you need to do. So now the way I interpret that, it's open for interpretation, pretty individual, but when you're focusing on the person you need to be rather than the thing you need to do, it opens up tons of doors. So it's like, I need to go out there and I need to find out who I was when I was playing my best golf. I was having fun, I was focused, and I was prepared. Now those 3 things don't have anything to do with my actual swing. Well, in a way they do, inadvertently, because 1, I practiced a ton to get my swing where it needed to be, so I was prepared, did my mental work. And the other part is just like, everything is mental. The mind is so powerful. If you put focus into being a successful, a kind, and a hardworking person, a lot of the other things will take care of themselves. If you wake up every day and you want to be successful, you have to do successful people things. But if you think, oh, I gotta wake up every day at 5, I gotta go jog, no. Who do you want to be, man? That's what it comes down to. And I think that little misconception or that little tidbit of information has really helped me already. And I hope it helps a lot of other people too. It's just a great takeaway, definitely.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And not a lot I can add to that. Is very well said, but I think the way I really saw it was kind of what you touched on at the end there was kind of comes down to following like a passion or figuring out kind of where you need to be, which is really hard. But once you kind of figure out like what you want to do or what you feel like you want to do, I think that kind of incorporates who you want to be, or what is it, who you need to be.
Yeah, focus on who you need to be and not what you need to do.
Okay, but similar in that where it's a sense of like, whatever you're trying to do with your life, it shouldn't feel like there are things that you need to do. It should kind of just feel like there's things more that like you're doing because you want to, and whatever it's gonna build you to, or whatever it fulfills you basically, as
100%.
opposed to dreading actually doing it.
Yep. And like you said, finding the passion is a very difficult thing. Lucky enough for me, I found golf, sports, fitness, content creation, that whole holistic thing at an early age, and really enjoyed it. And I hope this is going to be my career. It will be my career for the rest of time. Going to be a lot of other things involved, but the whole approach would be the fact that, like, don't over plan. I tend to find myself doing a ton of research on something before I get into it, but then I kind of get stuck because then I'm like, is this the exact path? Is this the exact way? Is this the exact method I need? So one step further, that is going to be do your research and then get to work. That's the thing people need. If you don't know your passion, go do a bunch of stuff. Don't sit in your room and pout that you don't know what direction you want to go. God has a plan. You have a plan. And you just kind of got to, put your feet in motion. That's the first step. So not to get too religious or too anything out here, but
get deep. But no, it ties into golf is life, right? I've heard that quote before. But yeah, everything ties into something bigger. Everything comes down to who you are as a person. So
definitely. And that's the big thing too about touching back on being a coach is, at the end of the day, of course, we care what our players shoot, but more than anything, I care how they act and who they are as people. If they get off that golf course shooting 72 or 92, 102, doesn't matter. If they're mean, if they don't have direction, if they have no respect for others or themselves, that's unacceptable. So if we can develop strong individuals, then it's time to get the work done in the golf realm. So that's a big thing.
Yeah. That's well said. Totally. I remember being a kid too, and like coaches telling you that in my head. I was like, no, you don't even care if I do well, right? If I make that shot or whatever.
Yeah.
But it really is true. Like, no one wants to be around the person that comes in and just pouts and can't behave and can't act like a big boy or a big girl,
Yep.
So
100%. So now let's dive into like what type of literature, type of books have helped you maybe touch on whether it's development of what the mental game is or developing strategies to kind of combat the stresses of golf.
Well, Brandon, I'm just going to dive right in on my favorite book of all time, which I mentioned earlier, which is called Golf is Not a Game of Perfect by Dr. Bob Rotella. And I really think it is a phenomenal book. Definitely has helped me more than any golf book I've read with my own game. And I remember thinking to myself, one of the last times I read it, I said, if I'm ever a college golf coach, I'm making every kid on my team read this book. Now, the asterisk I should have said when I said that was head college golf coach, as I'm an assistant. But no, totally, it is phenomenal, and it definitely just, as I said before, routine is one of the biggest things he talks about in that book, and short game. So target aware, short game, no swing thoughts when you're on the golf course. Stay focused on the goal. It touches on the brain as a taskmaster. So don't get caught up in the task of, I got to get my right hip back here, stuff like that. Just get caught up in the task of, this is my target. Go through your routine, visualize it, whatever. Visualize that target, the line to the target, and go. Like just be target aware, and then let it all come when you're on the golf course. The thing I related to is like, I played basketball for a long time growing up. With a lot of sports are faster paced, and you don't have the time to think about all the things you do when you golf. And it's really helpful in golf if you can just have that headspace of what you do in basketball, where you're playing defense, you're running down the court on a fast break. You're not thinking at all mechanically or at all about any of that crap. You're just going, right?
Yep.
And I find I play a lot better when I just play. I just go. Like,
Definitely. It's myself too with other sports such as hockey, another fast-paced sport. It's like, one, you got to be athletic and just react to what's happening on the ice, on the court. Whereas golf, Tiger stated, we should never make mistakes. The ball is not moving. Now, I don't necessarily agree with that wholeheartedly, but he does have a point. The ball is not moving. It's just you, yourself, and the elements out there. So we do have to react to the course and to our own mental state out there. So that's the biggest thing. One, when it comes to that book, great book. I've read that one. But yeah, it's kind of just taking a step back and having perspective, finding out what your goals are within the game of golf. Are you a junior golfer looking to compete at that level? Are you looking to become a D1 golfer? Are you trying to make it on tour? Or are you just out there to have fun? This is your after work league, you're having some beers. And they all hold their own, weight. They're all important in their own manner. So finding out what your goals are, whether it's in life or in golf, one of the starting factors into what you need to put into it. And that's something my dad's always told me growing up, is like, until you start putting hours and hours a day into this sport, you're not allowed to get upset. The pros, this is their full-time job. And of course, that's a whole nother topic of discussion, is what we see on TV in terms of PGA Tour golf. We see the highlights, my dude. We see the proximity to the hole, 5 feet. We see the bomb putts. We see the celebrations. We don't see the shanks. We don't see the guys grinding for their card. We don't
see Smiley Kaufman shooting 85.
Yeah, man. We don't see that stuff, and I think that's kind of skewed the perspective of the golf community. So it's good to have kind of a fresh take. And so some of the other books, some of the ones I have in my library, Mistake-Free Golf, great one. Zen Golf, that's huge for the topic we're on right now. Putting Out of Your Mind, so that's kind of the mental approach to putting, some great secrets in there. And then a fictional book I love, Golf's Sacred Journey. So I'll have these linked below if you're watching on YouTube. I presumably so. Danny will have them linked. These just the titles and maybe the authors linked in the show notes. The one I want to touch on is Golf's Sacred Journey. That one's just about a golfer trying to make it on tour, and then he finds himself in a place called Utopia. I believe it's in Texas, maybe. The Links of Utopia. He meets up with an old rancher there, and he kind of just teaches him or refreshes his mind as to what the game is and how it's supposed to be played, with creativity, with passion, and just kind of remember that it is a game. To many of us, the majority of us, this isn't our livelihood. This isn't our career. It is a game. It is a game that can be frustrating, but also very rewarding if you look at it in the right light. So some pretty cool takeaways from today, both internal and hopefully external for the listeners.
Definitely. The last thing I wanted to say was kind of what you were saying at the end, which is ultimately, what do we play for? To have fun. It's a recreational sport, whatever, stuff like that. Just remember, at the end of the day, like, play to have fun. And if you're not having fun, definitely need to take a step back and go, what am I doing, right? So
Definitely. That's coming from two dudes who really try to put, their time and soul into the game. So if we're saying that, I think it's pretty important, especially for the people that put more time than any in, or if this is your career, or if you are a junior, collegiate, pro golfer, we definitely are the ones that need to focus on the fun as well. Because we play, we practice, put a lot into it. So like I said, when you put a lot into it, you do expect a lot out. But there's sometimes that days are just going to be bad. The golf gods are going to be against you. And that's where character comes in, man. It's whether you're on the course grinding by yourself, slamming clubs, or if you're in a tournament and a college coach or reps are watching you, sponsors, like, it's the cliche saying of, it's what you do when nobody's watching. And like I said about just being able to put your name on a scoreboard and chalk up a score, like that takes a lot. So it's our golfing lives are defined by that score we see and how we play under pressure. There's no
Yeah.
diagrams on the scorecard, as you stated before. It's like people only see that score, man.
Amen.
People only see that score. So don't let it define you. That's going to be the major takeaway from today, other than the mental touch, is don't let your score define you. It's just a game. Be kind on and off the golf course. Just get that ball in the hole as fast as you can.
All right. This is going to be our ending note because this is going to be a good one. All right. How many clubs have you broken?
One.
Let's hear the story.
Have you broken any before I throw my...
I've broken one. I've got a funny story for it, too.
I've got a pretty good one here, too. So, ironically so, it was on my birthday. We'll lead off with that. So, birthday of this year, it was my 22nd birthday.
I recall this, I believe.
So I was playing from the start of our senior college season until, I don't know what date that would be, until the 25th of July, 2021. I was playing some of the best golf of my career, had great scoring average, just striking the ball well, really learning a lot down here at my new job, really implementing and putting that into the swing. On my birthday, man, played, what course? PGA National. I can't think of the name of it. Played a PGA National course down here in Florida. Playing decent on the front. Yeah, man, just opened up with a couple birdies, getting it done on the front. I think this was the 12th hole, par 5. Hadn't seen the course before. Hit a good drive in the fairway. Pulled one a little left. Ended up under some shrubbery. And
shrubbery.
Yeah, I remember that. And then I was playing with my dad and 2 other family friends. Anyway, he was like, I think you can, just take, go on one knee and try and hack it out from under there. And I was like, I might just take a drop, like whatever. And anyway, I tried to play it, swung and missed at it.
This guy's breaking clubs in front of family and friends, bro.
I know, dude. It was tough. So took a swing at it, missed. I think I took another one and advanced it like a couple feet, hit a root, kind of kicked back towards me. Chipped again, now from under more branches, really trying to set the setting here. Hits I think it's a water or an electrical box, so that just stops dead in its tracks. Chipped up, and it was almost a shank. So this is where the monkey mind really got into my head, dude. Just pure frustration, like just rage, no thoughts, dude. Just shank it in the bunker. I picked up. So I technically didn't even carve a score here. Took an X on this hole. So picked up, and I turned around, and when I was walking back to the cart, I just went to bend the club a little bit. Like I've never snapped one, and I'm broke. Like I'm not trying to do that. And mind you, this wedge is like 4 years old. It was time for a new one anyway. I'm trying to make excuses. So I went to just bend it on my knee, and that thing, whoop, just pop, snapped. Oh, my face was so red, dude. I almost broke down out of pure frustration at myself. Like I was so mad and disappointed that I had just done that. And now I play with a crappy 60 with a rusted face, and it just ruins covers of golf balls. So in short term, I need a new 50.
Pay the price, baby.
I know, man.
There's nothing better than the instant of pure rage after you go in for like a slow rage, right? Like you're pissed and it's building up and you're trying to hold it in.
Yeah.
And then you go to something to let it out a little bit, and then it just turns into full on like let it out. Like, it's just funny.
I wasn't like, I was playing good, but then I remember I exclaimed to you as to technically why that happened. So played decent on the front, made some birdies, whatever. I think I shot par. 2 birdies, 2 bogeys. And then the 10th hole, I bogeyed. Just a crappy bogey. Really tough greens, really quick. I was on the backside. It was sloping away from me. Chipped up 2 foot per a bogey there. And the next hole, this is gonna sound so terrible, man. It sounds like so many excuses. You know how golf goes though. So it's a par 3, water up the right, top my backswing, and the marshal pulls up through the woods, dude. Through the woods, all these bushes, branches. Of course, I should have stepped off.
He had an air horn.
He shot me.
All of a sudden, there was machine gun fire.
The dog's barking. Anyway, so he pulls up, and I'm just, I'm not Tiger Woods. I don't have the Marine mentality out there. I just kind of gave up on it and just chunked it, hit it right in the water. So I went bogey, double, and then an X. So that's where the rage was coming from. I was holding around together, playing decent. Like I said, it'd been a really long time since I'd had an unfortunate round or a poor round. If I wasn't playing good, I was scrambling. If I was playing good, I was tearing it up. So it was just, I really wanted to keep that streak alive. Was kind of the main rage behind that. But hey, man, it happens, and golf comes in waves, and I paid the price there for that one. What is your story? What were you, 8 months old and you snapped a plastic club or something? That was your last time?
Yeah, bro. No, I was close to 8 months. 13, I think I was at the time. Years, not months. And I'm a big shot coming off my first junior club championship victory. So in my head, I'm like really freaking good at golf.
Yep.
And my brother, who just so happened to come out and play with me that day, he didn't play. He just watched because he didn't play a ton at that point. He's my older brother, so obviously, like I wanted to impress him, right? Any younger brother knows what that's like. So I was playing terrible. I don't even really remember. I was playing terrible. So that combination of wanting to impress my brother, thinking I'm really good because I just won the junior club championship, fed right to my ego. And then I was just like a little rage monster. And I'm walking down the 18th. And I get up. I actually hit a decent drive. I get up to go hit a 3-wood, and I top it like a dribbler. And I was like furious. And I just turned around, chucked my club at my bag like this, hits the leg of my bag, snaps right in two. And it was my USKG clubs that I had just gotten that year, which US Kids Golf Clubs are sick. So I was like, I watched it happen and I was like, oh shoot, that's not good. Mm-hmm. And I just remember going home. I was like, my parents were like, sorry, like looks like you don't have a 3-wood until you grow into another set and you have to buy a new one. So, which I took me like 7 more years to grow after that. So I didn't have a 3-wood for a while.
But all right, so tied at 1 club each, man. That's
yeah,
not too bad. But I'd like to never do that again. So
yeah, definitely. I've not broken one since. I've not even come close. I don't think I'll ever break one again.
I don't think so either. It was
fingers crossed.
Yeah, so accidental, so purposeful at the same time. But
yeah.
So we will go ahead and wrap up here. This has been podcast 10 of the Tipped Out podcast. Dannychristygolf, Brandon Palmer. If you guys have any questions about the mental game, either head to mindmanagementgroup.com. Mr. Nelson, Bill Nelson, has a free assessment, which will then kind of take you through your strengths and weaknesses as a golfer. And then you can hop into a individual session with him, or go ahead, shoot.
Or just slide into our DMs.
Yeah, bro. So hit up Danny Christie Golf on Instagram, or balance_performance that you see there on the right on Instagram as well. Shoot us a DM. I'd be happy to talk to you guys. Love
absolutely
new listeners, talking to new golfers, getting some lessons going, just talking all things about the game. So thank you. It's been great to get back doing this, brother. We got to make it a thing.
Yeah, that's sweet.
For it.
Yep.
But, all is well, brother. You keep grinding up there in Partridge and hold down the fort.
Yeah, bro. Make it out of the ATL safe. Try not to get any sketchy cars or anything.
I'm gonna do my best to not get scammed, and gonna make it home safe.
Good idea.
All right, brother. Good talking to you.
Peace and love.